All right, we're live. We got Instagram and we got YouTube. Excuse me, and we've got Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And today we're doing dragon eye flowers. So we're doing a new herbal tea tisane thingy, and this is something that I found at the tea show. So this is what I found at the tea show, and we'll talk about what this is, how it works, how amazing it tastes, and then the actual problem with it, because there is a problem because of my biases that I don't actually want to change. That's not particularly politically correct, but I don't want to change them. And so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, what is it? This is Long Yen Hua. And so this is dragon's eye fruit flowers. So dragon's eye fruit flowers. And I was walking along the tea show. I had this cup right here. Right. So I had my cup, right? So this cup right here. And I'm walking along, I'm just going like, oh, thanks, oh, thanks, oh, thanks. And then I get one and I go, oh, thanks. I literally went and I turned around and I said, what the hell is that? And what it was this stuff right here. It was this stuff right here. And this is, okay, so where I am in Taiwan, on the east coast of Taiwan, Long Yen are, I don't know if you guys know the fruit. They are about maybe this big. They're sort of like the lychees, but they've got a brown skin, thin brown skin. The inside, I mean, it just looks like an eyeball, like literally just like an eyeball. In the center, there's a relatively large sort of pit or stone. And then the outside is the white flesh, right? So here where I am, one of my family's favorite things to do is sort of right when they start to get ready, sort of last week of June, first couple weeks of July, we have this tool and we go to the parks and we go and we because in our family free tastes the best. We go and we get down all of these long yen, and some years are better than others. But what happens in about May, because these things grow really fast in this climate, they pump out, like the whole tree becomes these flowers. And here, let me show you what the flowers look like. So the whole tree just pumps out these flowers, and they're not particularly beautiful. They're sort of brown. They are brown. They are well, I'll see if I can sort of show you. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for 1 gram of this stuff. 1 gram. And so here we go. Well, let's double check. Oh, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. Because what I've been doing, because of what I was talking about a second ago, was my biases. And my biases, I have this very, very, very strong bias. It's extremely strong against tea bags. I hate tea bags. I find tea bags to be viscerally uncomfortable. They make me viscerally uncomfortable. I do not like being around tea bags. I do not like anything to do with tea bags at all. I do not like them. And this tea, one of the reasons why it's this tisane herbal tea, I don't want to trigger anybody. One of the problems with this tea is that, as you can see, that's what it looks like, right? So that's what it looks like. These little tiny flowers. Now, these little tiny flowers are amazing. They are absolutely spectacularly amazing. Now, for me, what I get, the smell that I get from these flowers and the connotation of these flowers that I get is absolutely honey. All right, so honey. And then one of the reasons why is because in Taiwan, there's a lot of flowers and they're quite irregular. The flowers are quite irregular. And uh, certain times of the year you get these flowers. And I used to raise bees, and I was always fascinated. I was like, well, what's the flowers? What's the flower going to be? What's the flower going to be? Like, oh, what about this? Let's try this flower. And I talked to my team master, the fellow who was the team master, and or the bee master, I should say, and my sifu, and I would ask him these things, and he would literally say, "Oh, that tastes like crap. Oh, that tastes like crap. Oh, that tastes like crap." That's the truth. Actually, sort of North American bee aviarists are absolutely wonderfully lucky because, and I find it quite fascinating, because this is my new toy here. I'm going to try it out here. Most flowers don't actually taste very good. So most flowers, when you're talking about flowers, and you're talking about honey from flowers, it actually doesn't taste very good. But in Taiwan, the big exception is this stuff right here. Now, like I said, oh, hey, that works. So I haven't actually used a gaiwan or anything with these flowers yet because I didn't know whether it would work or not. But this actually works really, really, really well. And we'll get into what you can do with these amazing, amazing, amazing flowers. I even got out the old thing here, the filter. But like I said, I was walking along, and then they were selling it as tea bags. I'm like, I'm not buying the tea bags at the tea show. And so I said, come on, hook me up, please, hook me up, right? Please. And so they were like, oh, I don't know how much we got left, but basically I bought all they had left, which was only about 600 grams. And next year, I'm telling you, I've been peppering them with questions, so I'm going to be making some of my own and hopefully buying some of theirs as well. But I'm just blown away by this flower because it tastes like honey. It just tastes like honey, and there is a sweetness to it. Now that's just the first steep. Again, I haven't done this yet. I've only been sort of brewing it, sort of tea bag style. So I haven't done this yet, but I have never had, and very, very seriously, I've never had a tisane that, or a herbal tea that has blown me away as much as this did. And there's an emotional reaction. I'll be the first to admit there's an emotional reaction, right? I have amazing, wonderful memories of me and my children going to local parks to steal the fruit. Whenever the springtime, around this area, and I'm not going to complain because I know most people are in places that are way worse, but in the sense of wintertime. But sometimes in wintertime, in February and March, can be cloudy and rainy and like 15 degrees every day for weeks at a time. You're like, oh, it's terrible. But it's terrible for me. It's terrible for me. And when the real blast, the first blast of spring comes in, it's this smell. It's these flowers. Oh yeah, I was going to try this out. I'll show you what this is in a second. And so I have a deep emotional connection to it as well. And I'm just a sucker for, hey, this works really well. I'm happy. I was worried about it. I was worried that this was going to be, you weren't going to be able to do it sort of this style. That's awesome, right? So here you can see too what's happening. So there's 1 gram of this stuff, right? So there's 1 gram of this beautiful long yen or dragon's eye flower. And the smells coming out of this they're just insane. There's the honey, there's the floral. There's sort of this a beautiful vegetal going on as well. There is, it's just, if you've never smelled these flowers, or if you have, like I remember I was doing a trip, and it was with a Taiwanese American woman, and she had grown up the first maybe grade 2 or grade 3 in Taiwan, and she was, we got to the report of the level where we could actually ask sort of real questions, And she stops, and like she stops, she looks at me and she goes, when I was younger, I remember touching a plant and it moved. Is that just my imagination or is that real? And I laughed, and I tried to take her to show her this plant because there's a plant, I forget what it's called, but it's quite common in Taiwan, especially in schoolyards, where it'll be out like this, and then if you touch it, it goes like this, and you can touch the plant and it'll go like this. And she was like, it was this part of her childhood that she honestly thought she was a little bit crazy, because how could a plant do that? But anyways, the point is, if you had been in Taiwan or if you've lived in Asia, or you know this smell, this tea, this tisane, this tea, this herbal tea will just blow your mind, because it's so like Taiwanese spring. That's what this is. Just found you today. You ship to Canada? Absolutely, yes. I'm going to be shipping out tea to Canada right after I finish this live stream, actually. And right now, it's super fast. It's super fast. Usually, it takes like, well, there was a time where it took like 6 weeks to get to Canada because of Canada Post. But yes, yeah, I ship to Canada. It takes about, well, it depends. The normal shipping takes about 2 weeks, and then the faster shipping takes like a week. It's really fast. I love that plant. What part of Taiwan is this Longyang flower from? May have missed the answer. Oh, I didn't actually say it. It's actually from Taoyuan. So this, or sorry, Mingjian. Sorry, not Taoyuan, Mingjian. So this is like a family that does tea. And then on around and surrounding their estate, they've got these huge, massive Longyang flowers. And these things were like planted by the Japanese. They're planted by the Taiwanese. They're planted by the indigenous populations. They're just everywhere all over Taiwan. And they get to be hundreds of years old. And they're usually around sort of these old farm homesteads and taken well care of because they're tasty. And so it's just like, just huge. I know nothing about all of this stuff, but I'm going to learn. Well, hey, BK Sky Zoo 84. You sort of jumped into the deep end. This is like tea nerd central. This is sort of master's level stuff. So ask lots of questions. Just ask lots of questions. And if you have any questions, just throw them in the chat. I'll get to them for sure. I'm a cannabis grower, but I'm trying to be healthier with some immune boosting stuff. If you have that in the arsenal, hopefully not a dumb question. Immune boosting stuff. That's a tough one. I'm trying to think, what's the tisanes I got? This I don't think is immune boosting. Obviously it doesn't hurt. Basically all the teas that I've got, it's mostly tea, and it is single origin, organic. It's hipster tea, right? Single origin. Most of it is hand-picked, hand-produced. I visit all the people. I know all the people that make the teas. And so when you're talking about immune systems, for me anyways, I think lifestyle is more important in many ways. And so, for example, food is medicine. And so if you are consuming any type of caffeinated beverage, if you need hipster beverage, whatever it is. If you consume any type of carrots, you need hipster carrots, right? And by hipster, I mean single origin, the farmer, blah, 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 blah. It's a joke, right? Oftentimes, hipsters will actually get quite offended by that, by me using that word. Like mushroom teas. I'm thinking about branching out into that stuff, because I do have access to a lot of it, and some of it is quite good. But then there's also the people that focus on it, that just focus on the mushroom teas or the sort of the Chinese medicine stuff. They just focus on that stuff. And I'm not that person, right? I focus on the tea. So it's a tough one for me. Is there a tisane that I still have on the site that I'm trying to think? Oh, well, I've got tea on the brain. Most of the stuff on the site is tea. I don't know whether, yeah. So if you want tea, well, specifically Taiwanese tea, then I got you covered. And we should be getting some really nice tisanes. I'm going to try and get tisanes this year, herbal teas. I'll still check. I'd like some. Yeah, just go for it. And um, these types of teas are reflective teas. They're great for. Let's put it this way: I have a lot of customers that will both smoke and drink in the same sort of time period. They're good for that type of stuff. I've been told. I've been told. Anyways, to get back to this tea, if you have been to Taiwan in the springtime, or if you know anything about this, the Longyan Hua honey, the Longyan flower honey, this is just gonna kick your ass, right? This is just like it's so good. It's so good. I lived around Taichung before in Hsinchu area. Is mushroom central? Yeah, there's a lot of mushrooms. Um, here, here there are. Here there are a lot of mushrooms, not so much, but around there. And then as you move up the mountains, there's so many mushrooms, mushroom farms and things like that. I went on sort of a Chinese medicine kick when sort of stress levels and things like that have been okay for the last couple of years, knock on wood. So I haven't really dived deep into that, but there was a time in my life where I really, really, really needed wisdom. So I would actually go up into the mountains up above 3,000 meters and I would pick Lingzhi or the Gandorma. And so I'd be going up there and I would like find these 1,000-year-old trees that came down and these beautiful, like the shelf fungus that would be popping out. And I'd be going up there and looking around, pulling them in my bag and taking them down the mountain, which does not do any harm at all. It's like, it's nothing. There's no harm at all to that. Remember, it's like you're taking an apple off an apple tree. It does nothing to the fungus. Where are you located? No, not China. Not China. It's Taiwan. It's Taiwan. So I'm on the east coast of Taiwan in a small town. Well, it's a big town on the east coast, but it's like in Asia. It's a small town, medium-sized town. When we call it that, Hualien. No worries. No worries. Anyways, I am really, really happy. I am actually really, really happy because I haven't done this like this before. But take a look at this liqueur. Like this is 1 gram of this stuff, and I'll be able to drink this all day long. I'll absolutely be able to drink it all day long, doing it sort of the Gongfu style. You can also just stick it in hot water, and it'll work that way. Is that not part of the CPP though? Dude, you're going to get me all canceled because China does that. No, it's its own. You can look into it. I don't. I don't want to get zucked because that's a thing now. So we don't talk about politics here. But no, Taiwan is not part of the communist. Is not under communist control here. But if you have questions about it, we can throw it in the DMs. I don't know, something like that. How does the Long Yen flower compare to pomelo flower taste wise? Come visit in Taiwan. We can talk about that for hours. But we can't do that online. How does the Long Yen flower compare to the pomelo flower taste wise? Awesome, wonderful, amazing question. The biggest difference, of course, being that pomelo flowers taste horrific. It's some of the worst tasting food that I've ever consumed. Right? You go to a pomelo flower, it smells so good. Oh, it smells so good. You pick it off, like literally the worst. But the perfume is spectacular. Like the pomelo flower perfume, and I use the word perfume, like the literal definition of perfume. in all of its different forms, is the strongest and probably the most beautiful out of all the flowers that I've smelled. Right, and it's that strong. Right, when you go into the pomelo areas in the springtime, you roll down the windows of the car, and it's like you just walked into a healthy department store. So that's what it smells like. It's amazing, and uh, with no xenoestrogens. Well, I guess depends on the farmer. But this is completely different because I've had it in this shop for a little while, and so what I've been doing is I've been opening this up, and I've been taking a little spoonful, and I've been just sort of like sticking in my hand and been eating them. Just a couple flowers and just letting them sort of sit in my mouth and uh, steep basically in my mouth because they're so pleasant. They are not as perfumey. They're much more like a food. When I say that the dominant flavor is honey, I really mean that. I really mean honey. Now, again, my connotation is, Taiwan. In Taiwan, there's only basically one type of honey, which is really annoying. There was different kinds of honey that people have tried. Like one time, I tried pomelo flower honey, and it's awful. It's not even sweet; it's sour. There's some of the perfume in it, but it's like a sour, bitter honey. It's gross. So the aviaryists have to be very, very careful about what flowers they make honey out of. And so and there's so many of these flowers, right? Osmanthus honey is quite good. Yes, absolutely. And so one of the reasons why Taiwan has osmanthus honey is because generally speaking, the honey actually doesn't taste that good unless it's the Longian honey. So like for example, my buddy, my bee master. That's a funny story. Someday maybe I'll tell that story. But every year he used to travel to Tainan, to the areas of Tainan which were only Longyan, Dragon's Eye, Longyan uh, gardens, and he would put his boxes there because that's where they make all their money. And so all the bee guys would go there every spring to make honey because that was the premium honey. That was the honey that you could get. And this is why. It's so amazingly pleasant. It's so amazingly pleasant. It's a natural product. So in the back end, there's a little bit of a hook. You got to be, like it's a raw natural product, so it's not going to be the same as actually eating honey. Well, I guess that's the same. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of a drying, not particularly a bitterness, but it's a little bit of drying maybe in the back end. But it's still, pleasant from beginning to end. It lingers basically just forever. Just lingers and lingers and lingers. And I was going to talk about what the secret sauce of this is. Well, not so much the secret sauce, but what the magicness that could be coming from this is. Let me show you what 1 gram of this stuff looks like. Check this out. Okay, so 1 gram of this stuff. Oh, I didn't do. Anyways, this is about 1 gram. This is about 2 grams, but maybe 1.5 grams. I didn't weigh it out. But you can see how much 1.5 grams of that is, right? Now check this out. If you take this, right, you just take, say, 1/10 of a gram, right? So say it's like this much, right? So you take this much, and I'll just show it to you here. If you put that many into a gaiwan or a teapot, well, it depends on the teapot, because it's flour. You don't want to be using that with clay unless you really like the flavor, which is something actually you could do. You could pull it off as well. But if you drop that into a gaiwan with a black tea or with a greenish oolong, you will blow everyone's minds, including yourself. It's like magic pixie dust. I've been experimenting with this. And it is absolutely like magic pixie dust. So imagine adding honey floral sweetness to any tea that you want to add it to. And it's a subtle flavor, but it's super strong. It's not going to overpower the tea as long as you use like that much. It's like you have it over here and you just go, you do a little sprinkle, like, or this guy with the, you do this with it and you will transform your brewing process and your experience. You will transform it. It will blow you away. Now I've experimented the same thing with sort of the osmanthus. The osmanthus, sometimes you can do that, but I don't find the osmanthus to be particularly sweet. And so, and it's more of like a perfume. So it's like more like the pomelo flowers, right? It flows in and around, whereas this is more earthly. This is more down to earth. This is honey. It's like literally dipping a spoon and drizzling it over the tea leaves and throwing it in. But better. Why? Have I done that before? I don't think I've ever actually done that. So maybe it's the same. But I think it's better than that. And you can just brew this forever. You can brew it forever. All right. This is 1 gram, and I can put this in hot water, and I can just brew that forever and ever and ever. Oh, it's so good, and it's so rare, and it's so rare. And I'm so happy I've got it. I'm so happy I've got it that I can share this. It's going in next month's subscription box, and then I'll put it up for sale. It's not cheap, obviously. It's not cheap. And actually, I've been experimenting with packaging because of my biases, my very, very strong biases. I can't stand tea bags. I hate them. I hate tea bags with a overcoming passion. Type microplastics tea bag into Google, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's much deeper for me than that, because to me it's like a masking of what tea actually is. Right? You extract things from the tea leaves without acknowledging and appreciating what the tea leaves are. All right. So I am an absolute. I discriminate against them. So someone tries to give me a tea bag. My wife's like, it's okay. He didn't know. He didn't know. But like I said, not a fan of tea bags. So I've been figuring out a way to package these up, and basically what I've come up with, I'll show you what I did. And it's this trade-off, right? So it's a trade-off, and I apologize for the trade-off. But if it was a tea bag, it would be in one of these already. So you put the tea bag in one of these. And so anyways, here that's going to be 1 gram, and I'm going to have them sort of package them as 1 gram. And then it might go up to sort of a 5 gram as well, maybe a 10 gram or something like this. But this is what's going to be in next month's subscription box, and you'll be able to try them out. And it's amazing. It's so good. It's so good. And you'll be able to try 1 gram of it, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I haven't decided how I'm going to do it, whether I'll do like 5 gram packages and 10 gram packages. I don't know. But I will tell you this, there's going to be no tea bags. No, I will not do the tea bags. But we'll see what happens for how I do it. And it doesn't actually matter that much because I've only got like 600 grams of it. So it's not like it's going to be, although if I have to do 600 1 gram packages like this, that's going to be a pain. So I'll probably do some 5 grams and some 10 grams. But that would be for expert tea people and people who want to, like I said, No tea bags is a good idea. Well, like Chris, I can't. That's like saying, um, you know, whatever sort of religious diet. You know, well, I'll just eat it because of this. No, I can't. I can't do it. I refuse to, and so it won't be happening. And like I said, yeah, I'm very, very happy. You can see this is sort of the Gong Fu method, the Gong Fu style. Doing it like this, it works fine. It works absolutely okay. You've got, I was worried about it, so I had the filter out, but I didn't really need the filter. And you can see that the tea liqueur is, or tisane liqueur, herbal tea liqueur. I'm sorry, I don't want to. Every time I release a herbal tea, tisane tea, there's always a controversy, and I don't take a stand on it at all. Non-Camellia sinensis or formosensis tea, herbal tea, tisane. I'll take 20 grams, please. In 1 gram packs is fine. Well, there we go. I'm not going to release it yet. It'll be released in the next little while, though. If you really want to get your hands on it, then just, I guess, send me a PM. I can sell some of these up. But what's interesting about it is when they send it to me in glass. So they didn't vacuum seal it or anything like that, which is really quite interesting. But it's one of those things where it's close enough to a tea that you can sort of appreciate it and brew it in that style, but it's so unique that when you consume it, you're really consuming something special. Yeah, and it's really easy to tell you're consuming something special. And like I said, I've been experimenting with it a little bit. Just a pinch, throw it in any tea. Although heavily roasted teas might not be the best, but the greenish oolongs, amazing. And also the somebody just bought some tea. Thank you very much. Should I do now the NPC meme joke is gone already. And black teas and greenish oolongs, like high mountain oolongs, just go amazing. Oh, so good, just amazing. I did Rooibos, Gong Fu, and Disaster. So much spilled out through the aperture of the Guy one. Yes, so the Rooibos one is one of those ones. I guess it depends. I've never actually seen it as a leaf form. I've always seen it just as like powder. But I'm actually not the biggest fan of it. Nothing against it. No value judgment. I just don't particularly like the taste. And so I have a lot of stuff to drink already. I'm not actively seeking out non-Taiwanese teas. so I'm usually okay for that. But again, no value judgment. I'm sure it's great. All right. I think that's about it. Any questions about any of this stuff? Today I didn't actually drink any tea at all. I just drank a herbal tea tisane. And you can see this is it here. This is 300 grams of it right here. And so I've got 300 grams of it. And I've got another metal tin over here that's got 300 grams of it. And that's it. That's all there is of this tea. And they don't, they're not going to be making any more of it. Not until the springtime. And I'm going to try and make some of this in the springtime as well, because like I said, I'm just so blown away by this tea. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm talking to my buddy. He's like, "Come on, we got to do this like osmanthus oolong, but we got to do it with long yam flowers." So I think we'll have fun in the springtime doing this type of tea. And when I release it, I'll do some of the processing. I'll show you guys how it's made as well. It's pretty fascinating. old style. It's the old style of sort of making things. But yeah, last call for questions. Like I said, this will be in the subscription box. There will be 1 gram of it, 1 gram of it, tea bag free in the subscription box. And then I will, oh, I'm so conflicted, right? Because it's not like this is nothing. It's still hurting the planet a little bit, but I can't do a tea bag. I can't. But if you did the tea bag, they're going to be selling it in something like this anyways, right? Plus the tea bag. But it really is, it deserves to be like 1 gram packages. You don't, anyways, whatever. I've decided I'm going to have to go through with it, and I'm super happy to be able to share it. All right, so I'm going to go to do stuff. Thank you for watching. Wherever in the world you happen to be, hope you have an amazing morning, evening, nights, and all of that. If you have any questions about this, just throw them in send me a message. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next live stream.